Is climate change a natural or man-made occurrence? Have you noticed the daily temperatures continuously getting higher from year to year? Do you ever wonder what is causing this increase? Is global warming a natural occurrence that should not be worried about, or is this something humanity has kickstarted and is responsible to end? For the background of this topic, the main definition of global warming is the long-term heating of the Earth's surface, which have been observed since pre-industrial periods, and this source is from National Energy Technology Lab. Taking it back to the history of global warming, a Swedish scientist named Svante Arrhenius, he first predicted that the changes in the atmosphere were produced by carbon dioxide levels. As the graph shown to the left, the surface temperatures increase from the greenhouse gas effects. This is a slow process occurring over the past 1,000 to million years. Atmospheric gases are also known as natural occurrences, including changes in the sun, volcanic emissions, and CO2 levels. And for human activity and greenhouse gases, this is also known as a man-made occurrence, are from burning fossil fuels, cutting down forests, and farming livestock.
The first side of the argument surrounding the cause of climate change involves human contribution. Over the years, mankind has contributed much to the greenhouse gas emissions filling up our atmosphere. There are accumulations of gas that trap the sun's heat and lead to rising temperatures. The burning of fossil fuels is to blame for this. The problem is we use fossil fuels to produce energy for electricity, heat, and manufacturing goods. So to reduce these emissions, cleaner alternatives that still produce energy need to be found and made more common among people. Coal, oil, and gas also contribute almost 90% of carbon dioxide emissions. Carbon is a greenhouse gas which will trap heat in the atmosphere and cause rising temperatures. The average temperatures around Earth are going up at a rate of 1.1 degrees per century, and this rate is only rising as more fossil fuels are burnt. An increase in transportation over the years has led to higher percentages of carbon being released. The disposal of this carbon dioxide has become less feasible with deforestation occurring worldwide. Trees naturally take in carbon dioxide and convert it to glucose, which gives off oxygen. But with the removal of trees, this exchange cannot be made, and the tree's ability to reduce carbon dioxide is no longer available. To take it even further, if these fallen trees are disposed of through burning, this also releases more carbon in the air. Deforestation often takes place to gain more room for agriculture. Fertilizer being used on agriculture also contributes to carbon emissions. Ammonia, a main component of fertilizer, requires lots of energy to manufacture, which means more fossil fuels have to be burnt. Crops also only take in about half of the nitrogen in fertilizers, which means the other half is released into the atmosphere after being moved through waterways and broken down. The human contribution to global warming can be seen as a full circle effect that just keeps going and piling up air pollution on top of what we have already accumulated.
So the Earth has many natural climate changes within the last 800,000 years. There have been 8 different cycles of major temperate and ice age periods. The last ice age was about 10,000 years ago, while the shortest duration that this shift took, or that one of these shifts has taken, was 6,000 years. Some of the main causes of natural climate change are thought to have been volcanic eruptions from both the ocean floor and on land. This releases lots of methane, which is one of the main greenhouse gases. Decomposing plants or plant litter is also one of the main components of climate change, as this produces 6 times more carbon dioxide per year than all of humans do. So this is obviously, this has to do with 10% of all of the carbon dioxide released per year. Earth uses some natural feedback loops, or negative and positive feedback loops, to kind of hold stability of its climates, or these are some of the reasons why it takes so long for the climates to change. Some of the negative feedback mechanisms are photosynthetic plants. Photosynthetic plants were have evolved over hundreds of millions of years. But before they evolved, the atmosphere was filled with nitrogen and carbon. So now most of the atmosphere consists of oxygen. This is due to those plants. Excess cloud cover is a result from naturally higher and more humid temperatures. So as these clouds develop, they kind of block more UV light, which reduces the heat of the planet. Some positive feedback mechanisms are ocean warming, which the ocean water, the ocean stores heat through UV light. It's a positive feedback mechanism because it can only store so much heat, and then once it does, it's kind of ineffective. And then the albedo effect, which involves icebergs and polar ice caps. It reflects the UV light, which lowers the amount of heat or reflects it back into the atmosphere. But as these glaciers and polar ice caps melt, they have a lower albedo effect and become less effective.
So for the personal reflection, overall, the agreement was that global warming is caused by man-made occurrences. And for just some recap on everything, because of this agreement, 1.1 degree increase of global temperature increases. That was said wrong. CO2 from human activity has been consistently increasing about 250 times faster than it did from natural occurrences since the last ice age, and that source was from NASA 2023. And finally, future estimates project that the global temperature in 2050 will be 2.7 degrees higher than the current temperatures. And finally, here are our references.